one of the most fractious relationships in the area of management and labor in the history of Bermuda. Yet, in recent times, the Bermuda Industrial Union and Stevedoring Services Limited have worked together to form a bond that shows how important it is and how successful one can be when companies work together. Let's call it the Polaris effect. I'm Charles Webbe. Welcome. Please join me for an in-depth discussion with the major players behind the Polaris effect. And welcome to you all. The chairman of Polaris Holding Company Limited, Mrs. Cheryl Haywood-Shue, the CEO of Polaris Holding Company, Mr. Warren Jones, and Mr. Chris Ferbert, president of the Bermuda Industrial Union. Mrs. Haywood-Shue, let me start with you. You wear many hats: chairman of the Bermuda Hospitality Institute, president of Meyer Group of Companies, and in 2013, you were appointed chairman of Polaris board. What I'd like to know is, what was the first thing on your mandate?
Well, the changes that took place that actually saw my appointment was triggered by a consultant review of the company, and it showed a serious disconnect between the board, management, and employees. And I guess the company is 50 years old this year, and just like an old building, you know, if you need to renovate it, you can't just sit, you know, you may want to just change a plug and then you discover all your wiring needs changing and then everything. So what do? It's been patched for so long, it really needs to have some serious renovations. And in many ways, that's where the company was. Change was needed. So we changed our structure within the board. We worked with the consultant to find a good, patient, forward-thinking CEO to take the company on, and then we've moved from there.
Mr. Jones, you are widely known as a very capable civil servant, coming from education. Before that, you were in the health area. And people seem to value your stewardship. But what I wanted to find out from you, the ducks, I mean, that's quite a different discipline. What attracted this to you? And clearly, this was going to be a challenging role. And what were your first impressions when you got there?
What attracted me was what the board didn't say when I met with them. It was obvious that there were issues to be addressed. And one thing, I love a challenge. And so after prayer, it seemed like all the indicators and the message I was getting that this was the next step in my life. And so I took up the challenge. My first impression was that everything was broken, that certainly there was a lot of work to do. I can remember the very first event that I went to was a Christmas party, and the then president of the division said to me, do you know who I am? And we're going to get to know each other very well in the upcoming days. So I think staff were demoralized, management was demoralized, and first impressions were that there was a lot of work to be done.
So tell me, Mr. Jones, what tools did you use to get this process going?
Well, we spent a year, maybe longer, working on relationships. When we looked at what the issues were, at the core of it was getting people to work together and work with management, work with the union. So it was a matter of building trust, building a relationship first with staff and as well with the union. And I speak about them as two relationships because one is about how management interacts with staff, and the other is how we as an organization interact with the union. So we have regular meetings with the union. As we look at the things we had to fix, the relationships and the state of the relationships encourages staff and the operation to move more efficiently towards the same goals.
Well, let's talk about relationships. I heard a very interesting story in my doctor's office this morning. He told me that your company pays a great deal of attention to the health of your workers, so much so that some of them are encouraged to join a health regime.
Well, the company can't take credit for that. Our collective bargaining agreement requires us to give annual physical examinations and that they are to be paid for by the company. I think what we can claim credit for is that when I came on board, we weren't honoring that. And so together with the union, we've been pushing that to get to 100%. And this year, we will achieve 100% over the process of the 3 years, moving to ensure that every member of staff has a physical. And we've not just made that mandatory for our unionized staff, it's mandatory from the CEO right through the entire management team as well.
So it's fair to say you have a very healthy team.
It's fair to say that everybody has a physical.
Meyer Group of Companies celebrates 140 years navigating the local maritime industry. Meyer salutes the men and women of Polaris Holding Company Limited and Stevedoring Services Limited, our partner in supporting ship operations in the Port of Hamilton since 1969. Visit us at meyer.bm.
From sunup to sundown, a dedicated team of highly skilled workers using state-of-the-art technology quietly work to keep Bermuda moving. Bermuda's national and commercial institutions and its people rely on goods imported through Polaris from across the globe. Over 30,000 containers are unloaded each year, representing everyday goods, groceries, vehicles, and so much more. Polaris Holding Company is the powerhouse group behind Bermuda's docks, with interests in heavy equipment and real estate. Polaris is quietly powering Bermuda.
Ship easy with Summers Isle Shipping. Start south with our regular Bermuda schedule and avoid winter weather shipping interruptions that northern ports may face. Start the container journey at balmy Fernandina Beach, Florida, and our vessel will transport your goods reliably and securely to Bermuda. Whether you're importing a full container load, boat, car, truck, or other large-sized item, Summers Isle Shipping can deliver a customized shipping solution for you. Save big with lower logistics, warehousing, and transportation fees in the Southeast region. Visit Summers Isle Shipping on Facebook to learn more.
Mr. Ferbert,
Charles.
most people don't know your father was a stevedore. You were a stevedore before you became president. I hope that information is correct. What was your personal experience and how did it play into the development of this sort of union success story?
Let's just clarify one thing. My grandfather was a stevedore.
See, I'm showing my age now.
My uncle was a stevedore, and then I was a third generation longshoreman, and I came on the dock in 1971. But certainly, I think when the board appointed the consultant to come in to look at the relationship between the management and labor, naturally enough, the mayor were asked to participate with the consultant, and I encouraged them. I encouraged them to have a say in the future of the company, and I think that in going up in the boardroom and seeing all the flip charts and all the papers around the wall to see all the suggestions that was put together. I think everybody made an effort to recognize the toxic relationship that we had up until 2013, and we made a commitment to change.
Now, was it hard for you to rid yourself of any suspicions?
No, I think that if you look at what the BIU has been speaking about, we've been talking about how we need to continue to work with our social partners to make things better. Whilst we can agree to disagree, remember now they have a business company to run, and of course we have members' interests to look out for. And I think that their interest needs to be protected, whilst there's management interest, there's also union interest. And I think that once we find that balance between the two, and I think this is what we find at Stevedoring Service, not to say it's perfect, but I think we'll find a lot of that balance, which what makes things work.
Let's hear with you. The company is listed on the Bermuda Stock Exchange. Tell me, what does this mean to the stock exchange, the island's economy, and equally the employees?
Well, being on the stock exchange makes it a public company, and you're held to higher regulations because of that. And it also means that the public is your shareholders. Anybody can be a shareholder, anybody can buy shares. So the company has to publish its financials, it has to put press releases out, and it has to act in a way that the public is the shareholders. It's designed to keep the company honest, and I think it helps complement the internal relationship we have with our employees. As far as the impact on the economy, impact of Polaris being strong and profitable now, is that what it is? Yeah, I mean, that's good for the BSX because they want stability. They want the companies that are listed to be profitable. That means in the future, hopefully, our share prices will start going up, and it means that there'll be people purchasing and more trading going on. I don't know about for the economy. It is the way the company was required to be on the BSX, but how efficiently and professionally and effectively the company works, that helps the economy. You know, it all speaks to how Bermuda can move things and how fast they can move things and how efficiently they can.
Mr. Ferber, let's be honest. The word profit does not always sit well with unions. Now it's part of the corporate union lexicon. And my question to you, what brought about this change in thinking?
Well, when you say profit don't sit well, profitability sits well with the union. I think that what unions, not just the BIU, but I think unions all around the world, is look for employers to share those profits. So whilst we do understand the need for business to make profits, I think that it's important that business, I don't know of anybody who's going to go into a business and not look to make a profit. So we do understand that. I think when we look at the profit, we need to balance that against what the employees earn to make sure they got a reasonable standard of living based on the retail price index, make sure they get that annual increase to keep abreast of the cost of living increase.
Now, Mr. Jones, I'm intrigued by this Polaris tagline, quietly powering Bermuda. Precisely what does that mean?
Well, we're quietly powering Bermuda is a great tagline because everything that comes into this country, 98% of all the imports come in by ship. And when you don't have to think about us, it means that everything's going well. The moment you think about us, there's an issue. So when you walk into the grocery store, when you go to the hospital, the pharmacy, wherever, and you're able to get the supplies or equipment or groceries that you want, that's coming through us. So if we're quietly carrying out our business, country's running effectively. So it's a great tagline that nothing can happen without us. So we're quietly powering the country.
Mrs. Hayward, if you don't mind my saying, the relationship between the company and the union sounds to me like it's a love fest. What I'd like to know from you, what actually went on to create this détente?
Well, I think love fest might be a strong word, Charles. But I see it as a good marriage. You need to have, the parties have to be committed to it. They both want the business to work. And any marriage, you have to put a lot of energy and time into ensuring it works, or it doesn't. So, that's how I see it. We have a mutual trust and respect, and there's a framework for communicating formally and informally, and that's the important things that go on behind the scenes to make it work.
So while we're talking about marriage, do you as partners with the union have them in to have discussions on any frequent level?
Yeah, we have a regularly structured meetings, and we ensure that those areas that come under the remit of the union are formally discussed with the union. And likewise, the union, if it's a management remit, they do the other way. So, yeah, it's a partnership.
I mean, the first time I ever went to a press conference at the BIU and actually saw a stevedore services person on the podium, I was in total shock. That's part of the relationship you develop, I take it.
Well, you just got to start fresh, I guess.
Ship easy with Summer's Isle Shipping. Start south with our regular Bermuda schedule and avoid winter weather shipping interruptions that northern ports may face. Start the container journey at balmy Fernandina Beach, Florida, and our vessel will transport your goods reliably and securely to Bermuda. Whether you're importing a full container load, boat, car, truck, or other large-sized item, Summers Isle Shipping can deliver a customized shipping solution for you. Save big with lower logistics, warehousing, and transportation fees in the Southeast region. Visit Summers Isle Shipping on Facebook to learn more.
From sunup to sundown, a dedicated team of highly skilled workers using state-of-the-art technology quietly work to keep Bermuda moving. Bermuda's national and commercial institutions and its people rely on goods imported through Polaris from across the globe. Over 30,000 containers are unloaded each year, representing everyday goods, groceries, vehicles, and so much more. Polaris Holding Company is the powerhouse group behind Bermuda's docks, with interests in heavy equipment and real estate. Polaris is quietly powering Bermuda.
Mr. Jones, in the 2016 annual report, you talk about, and I want to get the words correct, a team of highly skilled workers using a state-of-the-art technology quietly. How does this relate to stevedoring?
Well, people think of what our staff do as a very basic, simple job of someone out there laboring hard and physical labor where no technology is involved. But very state-of-the-art. Our heavy equipment operators, well, let me start our crane operator. Our crane operator is sitting 60 feet in the air in an air-conditioned booth with a joystick, like he's playing, playing a video game. And that's the crane operator, and everything he does is computerized to the point that even the wind speed determines whether the crane will work. I mean, it's a state-of-the-art machine. He has to be highly trained. The crane operator has the lives of every man under that crane in his hands. So it's a very skilled job. And as you move down through, our top loader operators, they have computers in their vehicles so that they know exactly where every container is on the dock. Our foremen also have iPads and laptops, which allow them as well to track every container as it moves. We have to know where every container goes when it comes off the ship. We have to know where it's placed. We have to know when it actually leaves the dock. We have to know if it stays on the dock. So everything from the crane operator to our terminal operators who sit inside, and they kind of oversee the operation. They're actually putting the containers on the ship, which has to be inspected by Homeland Security when that ship gets over to the U.S. because if containers are in the wrong place or containers are on the ship that shouldn't be, there are fines that prevail. So that's state of the art. And then if we go to the garage, we can't call out for someone to come and help us when something goes wrong. Our mechanics have to be able to fix it because those ships are on a deadline. So something goes wrong, they're on the spot. They figure out a way to get it going again. If it requires them to jury rig something, they jury rig it. So yeah, state of the art technology. The machines are, as I say, even the forklifts are not forklifts like we might think of them. They're huge machines that very intricate, and the guys have to be well trained.
Well, not too long ago, Mr. Webbe, stevedoring was considered casual labor. Mm-hmm. Now it's a career. What has driven this?
Well, I think the change in technology. You go back to years ago, we didn't have, we didn't have containers. We had pallets. We had palletized cargo. We had cement that came loose, or the loose cargo that came. When I went on the dock in 1971, I think the containerization was just at its beginning phases. I think containers started coming to Bermuda in 1969 or 1970, right? And technology has changed that allows for a containerization port as opposed to a breakbulk port.
Ms. Davis, going forward, what is the most important aspect of Polaris that would you want the people to know about?
Well, I guess there's two things. One, that it can be done. If you have a solid leadership and you have employees who really care about the company and it comes together, change can happen. And then the other thing is that this is just a milestone. We've celebrated a lot this year of how much and how far we've come, but we're on a road to where our vision is taking us. So future growth.
Yeah, allow me to add one thing to what was said just a few moments ago by Mr. James, and also Ms. Hay, what you mentioned is this whole thing about mutual trust and mutual respect. And I think that whilst that has been taken for granted a lot by employers, taken for granted a lot in some cases by the unions, I think that when we look at industrial relations and making sure it's kept at a very high level, particularly as it relates to employers and unions, because too many times each side chooses to raise it to a certain standard or lower it to a certain standard when it suits their purpose. And I think it's very unfortunate when we do these kind of things to each other. And I think that when we look at the relationship that we built with Stephen Owen Services through Mr. Jones and the board, having regular monthly JCC meetings every month has helped to improve their relationships. And I think that's one of the reasons why you see some of the success that we have today.
We want to thank our panel, Mr. Chris Ferbert of the Bermuda Industrial Union, Mrs. Cheryl Haywood-Chu of Polaris Holding Limited, and Mr. Warren Jones of Polaris. We thank you for coming and sharing this vital information with us. We leave you now with a short film that gives you an indication of the magic that takes place behind the walls of the Bermuda docks.
Port workers are very important to Bermuda. Up to 98% of the cargo in Bermuda is imported. It all comes through this dock.
Goods to the hospital, groceries to grocery stores, feed for animals. Everything that's required in Bermuda comes through us.
And these are the guys down here that are doing the job every day, making it happen.
Our staff take great pride in delivering those services to Bermuda. Stephen Owen Services moves approximately 34,000 containers per year on this dock.
They're down here most times through the nights, working, getting the containers off the ships.
The heart of our operation is our cranes. Nothing will get off a ship without those cranes, and so we make every effort to ensure that they're fully operational and functional to be able to deliver the goods that arrive each week in Bermuda. Our mechanics have the ability to take our machines, take them apart, work on them, overhaul them, and we recently did that with our Terex crane.
This Terex crane C2 here has a total of 13,202 hours, 54 minutes, about 30 seconds of runtime on it. Looking at the hours on this engine, it was much needed to rebuild.
Totally stripped and rebuilt by the mechanics of Stephen Owen Services.
These cranes aren't like an average car that you just stop on the roadside and take to a garage and have it repaired. We have to basically come out here and work in the elements, and we have to use either another crane or top loader or forklift to move something about.
And we're extremely proud of the work that was done by every crane operator and every mechanic in the company.
We'd like to get at least another 10 years out of it.
Being a crane operator requires a lot of concentration. You have to know what you're doing, you have to have good timing. You're constantly going on the ship, picking up containers and bringing it back, and you have to make sure nobody's behind you, in front of you, and plus you're working with people inside the ship. So you have to be very cautious and careful what you're doing. We have top loaders that are lined here. They will come in, they'll take the container away while we go back and get another container. If the container's still there, well, we just stay on the ship, till the container's moved, and then we bring it off. So we've been doing it for so long. It's like playing football. You know, you got a full team, you have to use everybody in the team.
The main thing that guides my operational decisions will be safety, number one.
Safety is always the key issue because the slightest move can result in serious injury to somebody or probably death.
You have to be careful with the containers. You can be hit by a container can drop off of the crane. When you're in the hull, you have to be careful how you handle the container because it can slip, it can get out of control, and it can injure you. I know what everyone on the pool is doing. I know what everyone should be doing. I look for health and safety issues while they're working. I make sure that they're working in a safe environment.
Morale is very important on the docks, only because safety is number one. So if you're getting along with the person that you're working with, right, and morale's high, everybody's getting along, that means we're having no issues. Everybody's working along together, communicating, and we try to keep the morale up, keep the guys motivated, and that way we have a safe environment to work in also. It's all tied in.
We consider our staff partners in what we do. There must be good relationships between management and staff in order to deliver what we have to the community of Bermuda.
Guys are great, and it's a hard job, it's a demanding job sometimes. It's unthankful for we guys as well as the unseen dirty guys that do all the hard work, and I'm grateful for having them.
My team that I have are dedicated, hardworking, guys that are resilient to anything, weather conditions, you name it, they got the job done. You know what I mean? I'm very proud of them, and they do a great job every day.
Over the last 3 years, Stevedoring Services is focused on every facet of its business: finance, stores inventory, training, management development. All of this related to improving what we deliver to our customers. It's important for us that we continue to get better at what we do so that we deliver a great service to the people of Bermuda.
Meyer Group of Companies celebrates 140 years navigating the local maritime industry. Meyer salutes the men and women of Polaris Holding Company Limited and Stevedoring Services Limited, our partner in supporting ship operations in the Port of Hamilton since 1969. Visit us at meyer.bm. Ship easy with Summers Isle Shipping. Start south with our regular Bermuda schedule and avoid winter weather shipping interruptions that northern ports may face. Start the container journey at balmy Fernandina Beach, Florida, and our vessel will transport your goods reliably and securely to Bermuda. Whether you're importing a full container load, boat, car, truck, or other large-sized item, Summers Isle Shipping can deliver a customized shipping solution for you. Save big with lower logistics, warehousing, and transportation fees in the Southeast region. Visit Summers Isle Shipping on Facebook to learn more.
From sunup to sundown, a dedicated team of highly skilled workers using state-of-the-art technology quietly work to keep Bermuda moving. Bermuda's national and commercial institutions and its people rely on goods imported through Polaris from across the globe. Over 30,000 containers are unloaded each year, representing everyday goods, groceries, vehicles, and so much more. Polaris Holding Company is the powerhouse group behind Bermuda's docks with interests in heavy equipment and real estate. Polaris is quietly powering Bermuda.